drainage. This is strictly storm, clean water. You have a 3-pump setup. All 3 pumps are designed to run. All right. You have 5 floats in there, 5 mechanical float switches. Your bottom ones are off. Next one's your lead, lag, second lag, high water. Okay, and we'll go through the operation, you know, how you'll see it visually on the control panel, but those are your 5 floats. You have 3 pumps in here on a stainless steel guide rail system. Thank you. You have a stationary base elbow. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's the green stationary base elbow that's tied into your discharge pipe. The pump itself is built with a 2-prong sealing flange. That sealing flange will slide up and down the guide rail system so that you can pull it from the lifting handle. Let's say the pump gets jammed for any reason. Again, we're talking clean water. There shouldn't be much jamming going on with these. They're also what we call a recessed vortex style pump. Okay? The design concept behind a recessed vortex style pump, if you imagine the volute where the impeller sits and spins, it's recessed in that pump casing. So it's not in contact with solids as much. That's the design concept behind the pump, better for solids handling and jamming. So as I mentioned before, you lift up the pump, slides down, up and down the guide rails. That stationary base elbow, which is piped to the bottom, once the pump gets down to the bottom base elbow, the weight of the pump will press up against that base elbow. We call it an MTM, metal to metal connection. So there's no gasketing, there's no O-rings or anything like that. Just once it gets to the bottom, it'll grab onto the base elbow and press up against that. All right? Make sense? These pumps, 3 15 horsepower pumps, they have dual seals in them. All right? So we have seal fail alarms, seal fail and heat sensor alarms in the control panel. If moisture, there's an electrode in the first seal chamber housing. If moisture is detected in that first seal chamber, that seal needs to be replaced. We're not up, you know what's creek. Our first seal has failed, letting us know, hey, it should be addressed. The pump will still operate. It's not going to leak oil or anything like that. But once we do have that seal fail, it should be eventually pulled and repaired. Any questions about the pumps themselves, removal, anything like that? What's that?
So let's do a little test kitting kind of.
You want me to do it?
Yeah.
It's a heavy 15 horsepower.
Yeah, you're gonna get a tripod.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you need a tripod. This pump is every bit of 300 pounds. Yeah, 200 pounds, 250. Yeah.
Like this.
So I can't personally do it. You're gonna get a tripod.
We're not going to be doing much work on them. We're going to be calling Metropolitan for refills.
I'm gonna leave my card on every one of the control panels. If a question, concern comes up,
Do you ever have any, like, I want to say it's more of a grease pit, like we have at Damon, where occasionally, I know this will be clean every once in a while, occasionally we kind of have to bump that one a little bit.
are you talking about like to make it seat properly? Yeah, sometimes, especially with solids, grease, that sort of stuff.
We got over that pump style. It's Damon, the ones like this.
Oh, yeah,
this morning.
we got rid of those.
We got rid of those.
Okay.
Yeah, primers. The ones that he's talking about where we had to lift it.
Yeah, those are gone.
Yeah, those are
I was
gone.
just curious on something like this on the rail. That may be, if something like that would happen, that's probably as far as we're gonna go, and then we'll be calling it.
I would be worried about like with more sanitary grease type of situations where you'll have to,
Yeah.
you know, get it to, grease is the worst, as you guys know. I mean, it'll take up the pumps, it'll take up that base elbow,
Yeah.
and sometimes you just
Bringing it up.
Yep, exactly.
We shouldn't have to worry about with the groundwater in this situation.
No. You wouldn't think so. So those pumps should sit pretty nice on those base levels.
If for some reason we do have to pull it up, we're just taking the chain on a tripod and pulling off on that.
Yep, you could pull it up, you know, from the chain itself, get it, you know, hooked up with a couple of anchor shackles. There's a lifting handle on it too. If you had just a hook
Gotcha.
that you see that stainless steel
Yeah.
lifting handle that it's attached to.
Yeah.
You pull it up from there as well.
Okay.
The only reason that you guys are gonna be pulling and inspecting the pumps is if there's a jam. Let's say the overload is tripped for some reason, something gets into that impeller that is causing it to draw high amps, trip the overload. That would be the reason for pulling.
If we think something stuck in them too, another thing we do sometimes with pumps, is it okay with yours to reverse the rotation? for a
Everyone
second?
does it. Everyone reverses the leads. No one wants to pull the pump. I get it. It's battlefield triage at that point. I don't have a problem with it as long as we make sure to
Goes back.
flip it back.
It's okay.
Any other questions on the pumps themselves? Good? All right. Thank you very much. Do not drop the plate down there.
We got apprentices. That can drop the.
I'll get that in a second. I don't want to say.
All right, who's the book?
That's fine.
And
Did everyone sign it?
Onto your control panel. I don't know if you guys are familiar with some of our older stuff. Oh, that's a newer panel. But we now have an LED display on the front of the control box that'll give you alarm statuses and statuses of the pumps themselves, ensuring that we have power and then if a float is energized. What's nice about this is, when do you guys typically find out when a float's bad? When a pump is running too long or it won't shut off or it keeps triggering the high water alarm. Usually you find out a float's bad when it's, too late. So now we have a visual indicating lights on the front of the panel that'll tell you when a float is energized. Right now our off float is energized. These are normally open float switches. When that contact closes, you're gonna get a light here on the LED screen. Let's say we go up to our lead float, it doesn't energize, it goes up to our lag float. You will get a red alarm light indicating that that float has failed and needs to be changed out. Okay? So green good, red indicates failure. You will still get uninterrupted operation of the pumps should a float fail. If you get all the way up to the high water alarm, it's gonna turn on the pumps. So it will take down that pit, but you will get a visual indication that that float has failed. As I mentioned before, we have seal fails connected inside of the panel. Should that electrode indicate water in the first seal chamber house, it will give you a visual indication here that you have a seal fail alarm. It'll tell you when a pump 1 is running, pump 2 is running, pump 3 is running. Let's say a pump is called for, after about 10, 15 seconds, whatever is our factory default setting, it'll give you a red alarm light if that pump doesn't come on, indicating that the pump has failed. Most likely at that point, I'm gonna make sure that the pump hasn't tripped. But we would need to investigate why that pump was called for and then did not come on. Alternation, so your off float, so let's say the off float tips, your lead float tips up, we pump down the pit, lead goes down, lag goes down, or your off goes down. Your off switch is your off switch and it's also your alternating flow. So every time it goes from on to off, it's gonna alternate to the next pump, okay? So if your lead pump is, this one is your lead at first, after it pumps it down, then that one's your lead, and then it just keeps going down in succession. Any issues, questions, emergency service, first you call me. You could call me or you could call our emergency service on Saturday, Sunday, overtime, whatever the case is. This is the information that they're gonna need to know back at the shop. All right, this red tag here or this orange tag here, that gives us all the information that we need to know about what's here. You tell us what the issue is, we'll make sure that we're prepared when we come out here to diagnose and remedy the issue. Main power feed, 480 volt 3-phase. This is the brains behind the operation for the IntelliPump control board. Here's our contacts for our float switches. Our pump cords come into our contactor overloads. As you can see, all three of them are in the on position. If that pump does get jammed and it starts drawing high amps, it will then turn into the trip position. All right, at that point, we got to figure out why it tripped, pull the pump, inspect it, make sure there's nothing inside of the impeller or the pump volute. We have fuses that feed the brains behind the operation. And for the most part, the other thing I want to mention about this panel, it is hooked up to your generator. It is hooked up to your generator, but it's only configured to allow to run one pump. And that's based on the power that we have available in the building. So,
Coming from that generator.
I don't know what generator
Coming
it's
off the
coming from.
plant, transfer switch is on the wall back here, so it knows that it's on EM power and it will only allow one pump at a time to run?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's because that's how much power that we were given to run one 15 horsepower pump at 480 volt three-phase.
And we'll just run the next lead pump, whatever the.
Correct.
what we said.
Correct. Whatever the lead pump is.
It's all functional and working and everything?
I don't believe we tested it. I think it's,
Should be set up that way?
yeah, I think it's something that should be tested. I don't know how we would go about doing so.
Gotcha. Probably could on like an early morning or something.
Yeah, I'll talk to the electricians who might have done this already.
Okay.
Okay. Something to keep in mind, moving forward. We should probably test that just to ensure that we get one pump running and that the other pumps don't come on and trip our power.
Okay. We tested last week too for automation. You will get a Delta alarm on the phone if you're working for shift phone. This one says whatever the label is there and triplex groundwater pump or something like that with the room number on it. So if you see that one that is working, and that's any alarm on this thing that you get on the phone.
You'll get pump fail. I don't know what the dry contacts that you hooked up to. Did you just hook up to the common?
I don't know. We simulated. I turned off all the overloads on the inside, and we let it come on. We had both a pump fail, and then we also let it go up to a high level, and both of those did it.
Okay. So you saw multiple alarms?
It'd get the same alarm, but both of those things did send the alarm out. So I'm guessing it's just a common alarm of anything.
Yeah,
probably.
the common alarm will tell you whatever. It's all the alarms encompassed into the common.
We get
whether
the
it's
common alarm.
seal-
You come here and you look and see for further information.
Yeah.
One I did notice when we were doing that, like if the pump went into alarm, it seemed the only way we could clear it was to actually turn that to off and then back to auto again.
Yes, so that is correct. I confirmed that because I was talking to my tech that day. Yes, you could put it in off or auto. I was with the belief that you should have to cycle power.
Okay.
So if that does not do it, in the pump standpoint, if a pump is called for, it trips the overload. Tech confirmed that you can do that.
Do it that way or shut it off. if
Or
you need
cycle the
to.
power.
Okay.
The cycling of power will clear that alarm.
Marty, do you have a generator exercise day and time?
For the plant, I think it's on a weekend. What time you guys?
Saturday night, I believe. is-
Saturday night, maybe. I don't even know if we'd have to go. Could he just flop the transfer switch over to EM?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Saturday night, George believes, but something I have to look into more.
Then, yeah, we'll get with the electrician and we'll do this, so
Yeah.
make sure that.
We just had the 2 outages for the other stuff, but no one came down there as far as I know and watched how they were running or whatever.
Okay.
Just keep me posted. We'll have a tech out here and you can confirm proper operation, one pump coming on and all that.
Okay.
Do you guys have any questions in regards to the panel? Operation, alarms? All good? We'll get onto the sanitary system. Pretty much the same on a smaller scale. All right, we have 3 15 horsepower pumps there. We have two 2 horsepower pumps here. With this system, both pumps can operate together, all right? If you get up past your lead flow to your lag flow, both pumps will come on and take down that pit, okay? 4 float operation here, you're off, your lead, your lag, your high. These pumps also have the dual seals with the electrode in the first seal housing, so should you have a seal fail alarm, you will get that, or moisture in the first seal chamber, you will get a seal fail here. Same panel as this, just with 2 pump operation.
That one's tied into Delta 2, but it'll say duplex sanitary or something like that for the alarm when it's used.
This one you are, you know, we will have to check tripping if a pump is called for because it is a sanitary and we know kids are flushing God knows what down the toilets nowadays. This pit is shallower. I want to say it's 6 feet or something like that. I'll tell you exactly what it is. I got to confirm, but it's about 5 or 6 feet deep. This one's a little bit more shallow. Oh, this one we didn't change the basin.
Correct.
That's right. This one was one of the
I'm
ones that
just not
basin.
sure, I thought maybe you knew the existing depth, I'm not sure.
It's shallow.
Yeah,
It's
for sure.
I want to say it's less than 6. It's not that deep at all.
Doesn't stink in here anymore. That's good.
Yeah, we're moving this, getting some air exchange finally. You know, through the vent. I don't remember if that existing system was vented or not.
It always smelled terrible down here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any questions on this system?
Is there anything to do with this panel? Or is that
No, but I've seen that panel and alarm.
Yeah, that's
since
what I was just
since
wondering.
since I first got in here.
It's been
It
that
caught,
way.
it caught my eye right when I got in here.